Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you for tuning into another video. I just wanted to start off to do a quick apology to everybody that has tuned in, people that have subscribed and people that have been sort of waiting for videos from me. I am just sorry. I've got no real good excuse apart from life just got in the way. Work had been really busy. I have managed to get myself married since then to my beautiful wife. I've just been wrapped up in a little bit of everything, and I really wanted to try and dedicate some time to doing some videos and doing more content. I got myself a GoPro. I was trying to really amp up everything I wanted to do, and I just, to be honest, didn't have the time, and I would rather wait until I had more time to do a video than just do sort of crappy videos that I hadn't had time to edit, or I just didn't have much enthusiasm in doing a video. I'm one of those people where I am like habit obsessed sometimes. So if I get into something, I like dive full into it. But then at the same time, I can drop things immediately. And I didn't necessarily drop this. It's just there was so much going on that I knew I wouldn't be able to focus on this, and I wanted to make good content for the, there's not millions or hundreds of thousands or thousands of people that watch these videos, but the ones that do, I want it to be good content for you, because the one thing that frustrates me on YouTube or any platform is when people just spam out endless videos of crappy reviews or just crappy, just general content, even if it's vlogging or anything. It doesn't have to be anything to do with motorbikes. Just in general, I'm not a big fan of it. I'd rather, and I respect people for doing genuine content they've put some effort into, and that's what I'm trying to do. So again, I apologise this has took so long. It's sort of handy because I've had a really good amount of time now with the Scorpion Covert-FX. I've got sort of my pros and cons. I'm going to try and make this nice and quick video. I know a lot of my videos are quite long, and I am very aware of that. I have an issue with rambling. Story of my life, I can never shut up. However, I'm going to try and get through this quite quickly. So, the Scorpion Covert-FX, you've seen this in a few videos already. I compared this to the Ruroc. Personally, still, now I have had problems, but still to this day, I'm confident and comfortable in saying, for me, in my opinion, this is the best helmet under £200 on the market. No one can change my mind, and that is, I'll die on that sword, no problem at all. I love this helmet, but, and that's a big but, I've gone through winter with it now. I've gone through rainy season. We're just slightly coming out of that in the UK. We're getting some really nice days. You may notice there's a little bit of water on the helmet, bit of water on my visor and stuff. I literally got off the bike about an hour ago, rode back from work, and I just got caught in the most crazy amount of rain. Out of the blue, it said it was forecast, but it was only supposed to be a little bit, so it just went crazy. On that note, so with rain and cold, so I went through winter, pretty much rode through the whole of winter. I retired the bike second week of December, and I got it back out again the second week in January. So literally 4 weeks I was off it, and I just didn't ride. Not a big fan of riding the ice, just ultra cold weather. I don't have the gear for it. I've got some decent thermal layered gear, but it's nowhere near what you should be using when it's like freezing cold like that, and I'm just not a fan. So I'd rather just jump in the car for that. But what I did notice, so when it was cold, even not like crazy cold, like, a couple degrees, maybe like anything below 10 degrees, I would probably say, and it was not a sunny day, it was just an overcast, dim day, my helmet, I drop her down, I lock it in place, I'm riding away, I'm doing 60, 70 mile an hour on the motorway, or I'm just keeping my helmet shut down because it's cold, I don't want the wind blasting my face. I noticed, and I've tried so many things to fix this. Now, it's a mix between, I don't know whether it's the Pinlock that's at fault, or the shape of the visor that's at fault. This is my second Pinlock, because I bought two, because I thought maybe it's the Pinlock and it's faulty. It's not. It's not just the one. Both of them it happened to. So on the helmet, if you look at just this corner here, and up across here, for some reason, it starts to slowly steam up. The water and the condensation is getting past that Pinlock barrier, that little, like, it's got like a rib all the way around the outside of it. It's getting past it. So first time I noticed it, I thought that was a bit strange. I cracked the helmet a little bit, let the wind float the helmet, and it wasn't too bad. But as it got colder, or as it got wetter, that wasn't really an option anymore, because if you crack your visor a little bit, you get splashed in the face, or the water manages to get its way on the inside of the visor, so when you shut it, you can't ever clear your visor properly and you get droplets. Or if it's absolutely freezing cold, the last thing you want to do is crack that visor up at like 60, 70 mile an hour, because all of a sudden you can't see, because it's like the world is closing in from the top and the bottom corners. I took it out. I give it everything a full clean, with basically 100% alcohol. Cleaned everything, let everything dry, gave everything a dust down, made sure there was no dust on it or anything like that. Put it all back together. I rode home. Same thing. 15 minutes of getting on the bike. I had the exact same thing. I had a little bit of condensation building up on the bottom corners and the top right hand corner. Sorry, nowhere else. Again, got home. I swapped out this visor for my smoked visor, because the smoked visor is like, I wouldn't even call it smoked, but that's another thing. The smoke visor, I threw that on. Next day, I went to work again. Threw that on, exact same problem. It wasn't as bad, and it seemed to be more the top right more than anything. And it's as if the Pinlock is just that slight bit too big. So at this point, I thought, oh, this is a bit annoying. I waited until I got paid, and I bought another Pinlock. Put the new Pinlock in again. I cleaned this visor so much, it was ridiculous. It looked better than new by the time I finished cleaning it. Put the Pinlock in, went out on a ride on a weekend just to see if it did it again. It was freezing cold. I think it was about -4. It was so cold. And again, the exact same thing happened. Now, I've had quite a few helmets and I've had quite a few Pinlocks. I've had this happen a couple times, but only in like sub-0 degree temperatures, where it is so cold that it just manages to get its way through. And it's sort of like, it is what it is. It's only a bit of plastic that's supposed to stop it fogging up. You can't expect it to be the best thing in the world. However, I was very disappointed with that. I've tried even putting, I read online, someone had mentioned putting a little bit of Vaseline around the edge of the helmet, quite thick, so when you put it on, it makes a bit of a better seal. It did help, to be fair, for quite a while, but then inevitably it warmed up a little bit. It went cold. It warmed up a little bit. It sits on a little stand over there in the corner. It dried up, and again the same problem started to creep back in again. I haven't found a way of stopping it doing it. I've even tried putting some anti-fog on the inside of the screen on the Pinlock as well. Again, that helped for a little bit, but then if it gets a bit too cold or a bit too wet and the condensation starts to build up, the same thing happens again. I found it really frustrating, and it was just my biggest, so far, it's the biggest thing that's put me off this helmet and made me sort of want to buy another helmet and start trying that out instead. And I'm not one to buy something because, like, if nothing's wrong with something I've got, I won't just buy another one. My old helmet had probably about 8 years, maybe a little bit longer. Had one other helmet in between that, but that was purely because I didn't want a flip face helmet. I wanted something a bit more sturdy. But that was it. So I am thinking about it. I don't know if I'm going to yet, but I'm thinking about it. Problem number 2 is ventilation. Personally, so obviously on this helmet you've got 2 vents at the bottom which open with a little clip inside the mouth, just underneath the chin, and then you've got the top vent here which does have an exhaust, but it doesn't really work very well. I mean, so what I always try a test where I'll literally just put my lips around it, I'll blow as hard as I can and feel out the back. You can feel it, and it does work. The same as these 2 vents. I've had or played with helmets before, Ruroc being a great example, and the chin vents just didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. It didn't come through. It just did nothing. These they do. You can feel it coming through. The problem is, I wear an neck scarf that I usually put up to my nose when I ride. Mainly because in the winter at least it keeps your face nice and warm when you're riding around. In the summer I don't tend to wear it at all. But sometimes as well, I mean, I don't know if it helps. I get really bad hay fever, and I tend to put it on if it's a hot day and I'm going to have my visor open quite a bit because it's warm and I don't want the heat getting in. The problem I found with this, so today is a good example. So it was around about not today, sorry, last week is a good example. It was around about 10 degrees, maybe 8 degrees Celsius, that is. Um, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, so apologies anyone other than people that use Celsius that watch this. I think it's only the Americans, but whatever. Um, and if I come to a stop and I'm stopped for a while, or if I'm filtering, or if I'm just generally riding around 30, going quite slow for whatever reason, I have to crack it open a little bit. I have absolutely no choice because it just gets that hot in there. It is unreal. It just gets so warm. It is ridiculous. I have tested the vents over and over and over again, trying to find a better idea. I've took the neck scarf off completely, thinking maybe because it's so close to my face, that's what's causing me to get too warm. It's not. I went out on my old helmet, put that on, and I had no problems really at all. The ventilation, that helmet is fantastic. Um, and in the summer months, well, summer months we haven't really had many yet. But the few days that we have, I mean, the UK's had some crazy hot weather. It was like the weekend just gone was insane hot. I think it was 25 or 26 degrees. Here, that's insane. By the way, anybody else watching this that's not from the UK, that's crazy weather, especially in May. That's just crazy. But I bang the helmet on. Again, I'm riding around 10-15 minutes. What I've tended to do, and it's the first time I've ever done it, is wear sunglasses with my with one of the reasons I wear sunglasses with my bike. Wearing sunglasses because then I can have the visor open. I can get a nice amount of breeze and wind going in without having to worry about getting too hot or my head starting to fucking throb because I'm that hot in the helmet. It's ridiculous. So ventilation has just been a big problem for me. I've really, really, really not been happy with it. And then finally, the final thing that I will say that is an issue with the helmet for me is the tinted visor. So I've had a few comments about this. People asking me, tinted visor, do you got any solutions? Could you find any? So I did find a website. I will put the links somewhere here, up here maybe, wherever's empty when I look at it and edit this. And I'll put the links in the description as well if anyone does want to try it. For me, because of the problems I've had with the helmet, I didn't want to invest any more money in anything on the helmet. I can't remember off the top of my head the prices of these. There's some on eBay and they are crazy prices because of the delivery cost, because I believe it's coming from Germany or the US. And I think the delivery cost is around about the same as the visor. Now, 60 quid, 70 quid isn't a lot of money for a visor if you've got a high value helmet. So if you're talking, you've got a £500, £600, £700 helmet. That sort of, for me, I expect that like my AGV that I had beforehand. I think it was 500 and something pound. It was. I've got a full carbon one. That helmet, the visors tend to be anything from 55 to £75. It is what it is. This is a budget helmet, and for me, they should offer multiple options. It's great. It comes with a smoked visor, but the smoked visor it's basically exactly the same as this one. There is no protection from the sun whatsoever. The glare is exactly the same as if you've got this one on. I see no difference, and that is a second reason why I tend to wear sunglasses when I ride. I'll keep them in my bag at all times in case the sun starts to glare out, especially if it's just rained and you get that horrendous glare off the road and it hits you straight in the face. You basically can't see anything unless you've got a tinted visor, drop down sun visor built into the helmet, which you don't get on the Scorpion Covert-FX. Or you've got a pair of sunglasses and you can just bang the sunglasses on. The couple websites I did find were a bit cheaper. The colours for me just wasn't something I'd want. They did like an iridescent colour. It was like an oily effect, but it was more like a pink, like a bright pink. They did a gold and they did a mirrored. And I think that was it. There was another smoked one, and there was a dark smoke with no pictures of it, and I just weren't happy in ordering it, then having to faff about and send it back to, I believe it's an Italian dealer, but I can't remember. And for me, there's just not enough option. For a helmet as well priced and as good looking as this helmet, and it must sell well in this country because, again, every single motorbike helmet or gear shop I've been to, these guys are sat in the store. They do a beautiful sort of like flat grey version as well. They do a white one. They do some different decal versions. But I just found it really disappointing. So for me, not very happy about that situation. Other than that, for 200 or under £200, because I got this, I can't remember what for, in my last video, 168 quid or something like that. I can't fault it. It's comfortable. It does the job. Noise is okay. The decibel is not fantastic. You get a bit of wind noise, but again, I've never had a helmet in my life where it's just I don't hear anything and it's perfect. The fitting of the Cardo system, I have the Cardo PackTalk Edge. I will do a video on this at some point as well. I have that. Some helmets I find the speakers that go in it and they sit too close to your ears, or if you've got big or sticky out ears or whatever. Mine stick out a little bit, but not too much. I find that they end up pushing against your ears, and you end up getting a bit sore after a few hours of riding, or if you've got a nice big trip. Other than that, I think it's a great helmet, and I would recommend it to anybody, especially new riders, someone that just wants a cheap, cool-looking helmet and they don't want to spend a fortune. Or if you are, even if you're not a new rider, if you are just all you want to do is commute to work, and that is it, and you want to commute to work, you don't ride on the weekends, you do it purely out of necessity and the fact that it is the easiest option you have, and you want something cheap and you're looking for cheap budget gear that is still going to be really safe, because this is ECE 22.06, so it's the newest regulation, which is the more stringent regulation. This helmet, again, beats anything under £200. If you want something that is a bit more of an all-rounder, or is a bit more focused in a certain area, I wouldn't advise to get this helmet. I will be looking at other helmets in this sort of style again, because again, I like a different type of helmet rather than the standard sort of normal everyday helmet that everyone has. That's why I like Rock in the first place, because they stood out as a bit different. I don't know what I'm going to get yet. I've been looking at a few different brands. When I do, I'm sure I will make a video on it and I'll tell you all about it. But yeah, that is my 3 biggest issues with this helmet. Again, fantastic helmet. I'm not knocking it at all. It's just I want you guys to know what my experience is, because it might save you guys 200 quid and you'll get something else if one or all of the 3 points I made are a deal breaker for you. Other than that, thank you very much, guys. Again, I'm so sorry it took me so long to put a video out. I hope this one was a bit shorter. I don't know what the time is, so we'll soon find out. But yeah, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you.